Welcome to Switch Comics. My name is Marco, and today I'm going to be making a video kind of similar a little bit to one I made last year, talking about how the holiday season, this time of year, is a great time to buy comics, but with a little additional bonus in the fact that this year's comic market is way lower than last year's. And I'm going to be talking about, just in general, is it a good time to buy comics, but also especially with it being the holiday season. So both last year and this year I have got some pretty awesome deals around the holiday time. I'm a big fan of going on eBay and just following a bunch of different posts of good priced comics already, and around this time period you'll start to get some offers sent your way. People need money for Christmas. People are spent too much money on Christmas, and they're like, "Oh crap, my bank account's pretty low. I gotta sell something." And then you just have people that are motivated to sell. And I feel like, especially in comparison from this year to last year, you have a lot less dreamers. Where I think a lot of people entered the comic market thinking they're going to get rich and go crazy or whatever, and now the sellers you're dealing with now are a lot more realistic and motivated sellers. So like, for example, recently I picked up this Black Cat number 9, a Sabine Rich variant, and I literally I I discovered the cover, and then I was like, okay, let me go look these up on eBay. I liked a couple, went to bed. The next morning, I had an offer for this, and I thought it was a pretty good deal, and I accepted it, and now I have it. I've had some pretty good luck here. I've been doing a lot less eBay purchases, but I do like I said, I still like to. I've been following a bunch of new listings on eBay of books that I don't necessarily need, but if somebody wants to send a really good offer my way, I might accept it. Someone did send a really good offer on a Hulk 1 annual, but it was a pretty good offer, and someone beat me to it. I was thinking about it. I was like, do I want this book? And someone already bought it. But that being said, I've been doing a lot of purchasing on Instagram, more or less specifically from one page. I do, by the way. I'm making this video. This video is supposed to come out Sunday, but it's coming out today because my package came in early. So I do have my big book that I've been talking about. I've been teasing for like a week now. My big book's here, and I did get it off of this Instagram page. It's called, Elite Comics 11 is their Instagram page, and I just recently bought my Daredevil 1 from them. And I think I got a pretty good price on that. And again, they have a lot of really good prices on there that go very quickly. There's a lot of books on there that I'm like, oh crap, I wish I was a little faster. But then you have some books that will sit there for various reasons. Even if it could be a pretty good price, I don't know. It just wasn't the right person at the right time. Or again, I feel like the competition for buying comics is a little slimmer during the holiday season, because especially on some of these bigger books, people are like, might even be like, oh man, that's a great deal and I want that book, but gotta buy Christmas gifts, so I feel like more people are hesitant to spend a lot of money during this time of year, but if you're able to make that happen, again, I feel like there's a lot of circumstances you can get and combine together. Because like I said, this one, I think they had listed for 15, and I end up getting for 1,300, not dollars. But I think that was an awesome price. I was very, very happy with that. Again, wasn't expecting to have a Daredevil 1 by the end of the year, but here we are. I'll have to do a recap on all the new slabs of the year. I'll have to. It's crazy to think, because it's like I don't even know some of them. Which ones were last year, so which ones are this year. I feel like it was a lot this year, and I'll have to go find an old picture or something. But it's pretty crazy what all has been added to the collection. I do look forward to making that video just for myself to see what all happened in a year. But anyway, yeah, so super happy to add Daredevil 1 to the collection. Super happy to add this other book, this new book to the collection. I'm gonna, you know me, I like to build up a little suspense, a little tease. But I did want to also mention, because like I said, the video I made last year was mainly talking about buying during the holiday season. There's, like I said, I feel like less competition. I feel like people are more motivated because they need their holiday money. Or whether they need it to buy a gift or they need it to recoup the cost of something else they've already bought. So I do feel like it's a great time. I feel like I'm always getting way more offers, like being sent to me, because keep in mind, you can follow, like on this one, I'm pretty sure this was not a best offer comic. I just followed it, and then, but as a seller, you can send an offer to anyone that's following your items. So, yeah, you don't think you just have to follow best offers. Follow any comic that's already a good price, and maybe you'll get lucky and they'll send you an offer anyway. I think that's how that Hulk Annual 1 was as well. But yeah, so like the holiday time, great time. I highly suggest, if you have the money and you're looking to build up your collection, I think it's a really great time to catch yourself some deals. But that being said, I think it's way better this year than last year, because all the fall off of, I know that people like to simplify it and say the comic market crashed, and I disagree. I think that's a very lazy way of describing what happened. We had a bunch of people come in and that didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know how to properly invest in comics. And they just started buying anything and everything and charging more money for it. And you had a bunch of... But here's the thing. So you had so many new people that... and some of the new people were genuinely interested in buying these books. And especially, you have... a new movie or show come out and you get a new fan. Like a lot of people didn't know too much about Scarlet Witch, for example. Oh, I want to get House of M, stuff like that, where there is a genuine interest. But regardless whether it was genuine interest or they were just trying to, make a buck, you had all these new, unknowledgeable people about the hobby that were gullible. And like I said, whether they really wanted it or not, they're spending more than they should have. And that inflated the market, kept going up and up, and especially as you're going from seller to seller. So one guy sells a book for $50, and another guy buys it thinking he can sell it for $70. Another guy buys it thinking he can sell it for $100, and crazy stuff happens. And what ended up happening was all these inexperienced people got screwed over, and there's so many of them that you could see where they're just like, look, I have all this inventory, and eventually everyone gave out when they learned that their books, they spent the max value on their books and the books were going down. People that want to make money didn't want to be in the game anymore, and that caused the crash. But it's really, everything was just leveling back out. And if you look at historical numbers, comics are still going up in value. I think there's great books. Adding Daredevil 1 to your collection, adding Journey into Mystery, Fantastic 448, those are great books to add to your collection that will continuously rise as time goes on. They're amazing books that people love. And that's a big thing about my comic wall, is I want to put books on here that anybody can look at and be like, oh my God, that's that book. You know what I mean? Like, I want it to be amazing books, and partly I guess for bragging rights. But I mean, I've seen cool comic walls like that, and I'm like, man, I wish I had that comic wall. You know what I mean? And I want to have that kind of comic wall that other people want to have, and not to flaunt it and be like, I'm better than you or whatever. But it's just cool. It goes back to if you had the coolest action figure back when you were a kid or whatever, the coolest Beyblade. I had the coolest Beyblade when I was a kid. But it's just about having that awesome thing. And I'm not gonna go after anything and everything. Like if I had an opportunity to get an Action 1, I'm not gonna, or like, I guess if I got it for a good price, sure, I'd get it, but then I'd sell the book, you know what I mean? I don't have an interest in putting an Action 1. Maybe I'd leave it up for a week, alright? Maybe I'd make a few videos with it, but then it'd be gone, and it would be some other cool Tales of Suspense 39, or, you know, something else that I'd like. I, you know, like, it is about having that wow factor for me, but it's also about having cool books that I personally care about. And with that being said, you know, a lot of your big books, I derailed a little bit. You know, I do. But you know, a lot of these big books, I think, are ones that that people can soundly invest in, and it's not going to be comic investing. Is not something like you put your money into it, and a week from now you doubled your money. That's not long-term healthy comic investing. And that's what a lot of the new people came in thinking that's what it was, and I guess for a little bit it was, but it's not sustainable. It didn't last long, you know. I mean, very obviously it didn't last long. You have all these new people, and then once those new people become knowledgeable, it crashed. They learned this is not working, and I don't care about my first Chthon or first this or first New Falcon or you know, these little keys. These aren't $100 books. You know what I mean? Like, and there's a difference. I don't want to say care like that's a garbage book. It might be a cool book, but it's not that big of a deal. It's not, you know, these big mega keys. There's no reason to be spending a ton of money on it. Those books have their value, and even those might steadily go up over time, or as, you know, shows and movies or whatever create more interest around a character. But it's, you know, I'm really happy right now. I feel like the comic market is in a very healthy place. That being said, to kind of reel it back in, your sellers, for the most part, are going to be competent and know what they're doing, and willing to, you know, they want to make money. People that are actively selling comics, and that's like how they make money, whether it be their full-time job or a part-time job. Someone that's doing it right and knows what they're doing wants to make money, and so they have to sell comics to make money. You know what I mean? They can't just ask for $1 billion and get it because that's what they asked for it, and they know that. Now, granted, that being said, like I said, there will still be some dreamers, I guess we can call them, people who remember the comic market a couple years back and will ask whatever they think because whatever they want the outrageous price. So reel it in, find yourself some smart sellers, and make yourself a deal. That being said, there's certain comics, I don't know, it's super strange to me because, like, with this upcoming comic I'm about to show, with this Daredevil 1, there's certain books that, you know, I feel like are even really good books that I've been getting a pretty good price on. And again, I really like dealing with Instagram better. eBay, to me, I feel like you could still get some good deals, especially like if you're looking for some. This is kind of niche, you know what I mean? It's not that big of a book. I think, like I said, I think I paid $100 for it, and then they were asking for like $125 or $130 or something. And this is not something I'm going to easily find on Instagram. But you know, that's an eBay purchase for me. It'd be, unless I want to spend ages trying to find it on Instagram and getting a really good deal. It's just so much easier for a book like that to go to Instagram. To go to eBay. And like I said, I think there are some good sellers on eBay, motivated sellers. But I personally have been finding a lot more luck with Instagram. It's one page in particular, and I want to shout them out because they have been getting a lot of awesome books from them. I got the Daredevil, I got this new book, I got my Surfer 3, there we go. I got my Doctor Strange 169. Is that it? I think that's it. Like I said, there's been plenty of other books I wanted to get, but I was too slow on. But I don't know. I want to shout him out. It feels nice. But at the same time, the more it's one of those things like the more, which they have a lot of followers anyway, but the more people know about it, the more competition I have, and the harder I gotta fight to try to claim these books faster than everybody else. So I feel like I've rambled enough. It's time for the grand reveal. Now, I did tease this book. I said it's a triple threat, and I was really trying to be careful. I feel like no matter how much I tease, or how little I tease, rather, like people were getting the Daredevil one, people were guessing this book, but they weren't fully guessing this next book that I have here. I said it's a triple threat, and nobody could figure out exactly why it was a triple threat. So, let's do it. Let's do it this way. We have Amazing Spider-Man 129, and an eagle-eyed viewer may notice it already, but it is a yellow label. I got it at a 5.5, and right there, Stan Lee signature. It's not the greatest Stan Lee signature, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna act like, it's not just a giant black blob on the middle of Spider-Man there. That being said, it's a triple threat because it completes my Netflix Defenders here. I had, where is it at? Punisher 218 here. The John Bernthal cover holding its place. So it completes that. Its first Punisher, which is, huge. And my first Stan Lee signature. Despite it not being the prettiest, it is. I've been wanting a Stan Lee signature in the collection. And I wanted it on a good book. I didn't want to get it on some dollar bin book, because you can find $1 million bin books that people had Stan Lee sign. And to me, I wanted it on a good book. And that's kind of a tricky thing to do, because, for example, like, I couldn't afford an Avengers 1 signed by Stan Lee. That's obviously a good book, but that's too good of a book. So it has to be, this healthy spot where it's like, it is a sweet book still, but I can't afford it. And it just happened to work out super awesome. Like I said, I saw it on that Instagram page, and they'd actually price dropped it twice, I think, because I think it was at 2,000 and then dropped to 18 or something, maybe 1850, and then they dropped it to 1750. And then I let it sit there for like a week or so. Nobody was claiming it. And sometimes patience is key. All right. Again, I don't know what the situation was, because I feel like 1750 wasn't a bad price for the book. Because you can send them an offer, but if you claim, you have it. Even if I sent in an offer, I'm waiting to hear back because it's a consignment page, so I got to message the page, and then they got to message the person. Sometimes it takes a while back to hear from them. But in that meantime, if somebody else claimed it, then I lost out on the book. All right. But anyway, so I waited about a week, again, because I don't know. To me, I don't like to send an offer like immediately, because the longer the book sits there, the more motivated that seller is, and that can also be something to keep out for when you're watching books on eBay. If that book's been in your watch list for a long time, odds are that seller is motivated to sell it. Send them an offer. If it's the best offer, send them a heavy offer. You know what I mean? If it's a $200 book, send them, $150, send them $125. They might be that motivated to sell it. If it's been sitting in their inventory for 6 months, they might be willing to go down on it. Anyway, so back to this though. So they price dropped it twice, and then it sat there for like a little maybe like 9 days or something at $17.50. Nobody were claiming still. So I shot him an offer 15, and I got it for 15. It was a little bit more than I was wanting to spend on the 129. I was wanting to keep in the like $1,000 price range and maybe get like a 4.0 or something, which I feel like for a 4.0 at 1,000 would have been kind of hard to do. It's a good price, but not a common price. But so I got 15. But that being said, it's a 5.5, and it's my first Stan Lee signature. And I'm super happy to add it to my wall. I can't make any promises, but this might be my last big book of the year. I want to try to start saving up some money. Like I said, I've said in a few videos now, I have a goal next year of getting Tales of Suspense 39, which I think I would like to get a 1.8 to match my Journey 83. And that'll probably run me like $5,000 to $7,000 ish anyway at that price range. So like it's still, you know, a lot to save up for. It it just depends. If I find a really good deal on a 1.5, then I might just swing that way. I'm always a sucker for a deal. I like things that match. I like a little bit of OCD-ness, but it's not the most important thing to me. The most important thing to me is just having these awesome books, making sure they display pretty well, and again, even that like has a bit of a waiver because like I know this Daredevil one doesn't display the best, but for the price, that was probably the only point I was going to be able to buy that book at this time. So, you give and take, you push and pull. But yeah, so, I mean, that's the new book. A few people guessed Spider-Man 129. I know Logan Gapehart said the triple threat is it's first Punisher, first Jackal, and it completes the Netflix Defenders. And I was like, Jackal does not count. That does not give you a part of a triple threat. But no, the Stan Lee signature... and my first Stan Lee signature. I mean, this is going to be a pretty memorable book. I'm very happy to get it. I wouldn't mind getting more Stan Lee signatures, but at the same time, I'm also not that worried about it. I feel like it'll just depend on... So, like, for example, when I'm looking at Tales of Suspense 39, God, that'd be a crazy one to get. I feel like that'd be out of price range, even at like a 1.8 or something, 1.5, I feel like that'd be too much. And then, that's what I was saying. So I want to start saving up for that. And I genuinely want to try to get it as kind of early as I can. Because I'm setting a soft goal. So just in case, like Tales of Suspense 39 is a hard goal. I'm going to get that book next year. It's going to happen some way, somehow. Soft goal, if I get that book and have more time, I want an Avengers 1. That is my secondary goal for next year. And personally, I kind of think that book would be cooler with a Stan Lee signature. I don't know why. Like, to me, that's just one of the... like, it just kind of encapsulates all of Marvel. Avengers #1, like, is like... I don't know. It's such a sweet book. Now, Iron Man is my favorite character, so I'm definitely super interested in it for that reason. But Avengers 1 is just like, that is the book of Marvel. And to me, that one would be super rad to get a Stan Lee signature on it. Again, if I could get a 1.8 or something on that, I'd be fine with that as well. But that's more or less it for today. I hope you all take my advice. Like I said on eBay, just start liking stuff, or following different books that you're interested in, and just see what people offer you. And then don't be afraid to send offers. Don't be afraid to counter offer. A lot of these people, I'm telling you, during this time of year, and also now in this current comic market, are wanting to make deals. They didn't even counter... Now, granted, this is on Instagram. They didn't counter offer on this. I think on this one... I think there was a counter. I can't remember how it went now, but I think I said something, they said something back, and I accepted on this. This, I didn't counter offer, because like I said, it was $1,750. I fully expected them to say $1,600, and I probably still would have got it at $1,600. But yeah, I said 15. They said, okay, fine. So, shoot an offer and see what people have to say. The worst thing that can happen is they can say no. Now, granted, don't send $500 on this book. Don't send something insulting. But don't. It's a muddy middle ground where it's like, don't be afraid to push a little far, but not too far. And hopefully, add some sweet books to your collection. I do want to kind of make another video kind of similar to this one, but more so talking about adding Grails to your collection. And, you know, I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, that book's out of my league. No way I can get that. I feel like I'm a big advocate of, you know, low grade better than no grade. And I feel like a lot of people say that, but there's a lot more that goes into it. And especially, like, I feel like a lot of people don't realize the difference. Like, there can be huge differences in appearance in a 1-2-0 versus another 2-0. You know what I mean? 1-2-0 could look like you ran it through your lawnmower, and another 2-0 could have all the damage on the back and the front cover's beautiful. You know? And then you have things like, you know, missing Marvel value stamps and stuff like that. There's a lot of things that go into it. But anyway, I think I'll make a video on that sometime in the near future. Thank you all so much for watching. I'd love to know if you all have any goals, whether it's a book to get by the end of this year, which is, you know, cutting pretty close, or if it's a goal of something you want to try to get for next year. Whether it's big or small, it doesn't have to be a huge book. Me, like I said, I'm addicted to the big keys. That is really where my mind's at right now. It brings me a lot of joy to have this killer collection, and I'm much more okay with building a slow collection that's really solid. And some people would rather, you know, just buy tons and tons of stuff, and they're not as big. Everybody's different. Everybody collects different, and that's just how it is. That's okay. But that's all I have for you for today. Thank you for listening to all my rambles as usual, and I will see you next time.